Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how to solve SAT reading and writing words in context questions with proven tips and strategies. Please watch the video carefully, and if you like it, it would be really great if you share the video lesson with others so that others can also benefit. Let's get started. Digital SAT words in context. Master tricky vocab questions in minutes. So in this video lesson, I'll be teaching you certain tips and strategies, and at the end of the video, we'll be solving certain official SAT words in context questions given by College Board. So yeah, let's move on. We'll be starting with best tips. So far, I've been teaching SAT for the past 2 years and been involved in this SAT sphere for the last almost 3 years. And so far, I've changed my methods and strategies for maybe all types of questions, like multiple times. I switched from one method to another one and also switched that from method to a different one. So like over time, I've changed my method to see that if they really work with me and also with my students as well. So the tips and strategies I'll be showing today for words in context questions is the maybe ultimate one that I'm teaching to my students and that I can use whenever I take the exam myself. So let's start with the first tip. Tip number one for the SAT words in context question is that you should not really panic. You should not panic if you don't know the word. So College Board don't really try to use some really hard, well, like for especially international versions, they don't try to use for really hard questions, especially in module one or like for most module two questions. And there may be some certain ones that you can also use some specific techniques to avoid getting trapped. So you should not really don't panic. Like if you don't know the word, you should not panic if you don't know the word. Actually, there are certain list of words. There are certain list of words for digital associated words in context that I guess I already shared in my channel, or like I'll be sharing after this video, that you can use use to learn new words that are expected to that are expected to come in your upcoming exams. So based on the past exam words, don't panic if you don't know the word. The SAT does not want you to memorize the dictionary, so this is not the tip. This is not the aim of College Board. College Board test creators, like they especially try to trick you with certain like medium or usually easier questions for this type of questions. So how, even if the word looks unfamiliar, you can solve it by reading it, like by reading the passage. Like even if the word looks unfamiliar, you can solve it by reading carefully, especially reading the given passage very carefully. You can take a look at the other parts of the passage that might give you a hint what might it mean, the correct answer. So this is tip number one. Tip number two, always read both parts of the blank. So there are two types of words in context questions. So like words in context, we got two types of this question, like first type, second type. First part is a blank questions, and the second one is just like synonym, or we can, it's like in informal way we can solve synonym, but it's just called um most nearly means, like the question specifically asks like most nearly means. So usually they refer to just synonym based on the passage, not just like regular synonym, but based on the context of the passage, right? So right now we are focusing on the blank part. Usually for the passages you might have like similar to inference questions, there might be like blank inference or transition questions, there might be a blank part that, and like four options are given. So based on the logic of the test, based on the like the context of the passage, you should find the most like the best option here and then most related one. Always read both parts of the blank. The sentence before and after the blank always provides hints. So hints is like this part, focus on this part. And don't focus only on the single word. So again, Sometimes some students tell that like by looking at the blank part, like the sentence itself, imagine like in the words and context questions, we got sentence one, sentence two, sentence three, right? So the blank part is in the third sentence. Imagine the blank part in the third sentence, and why most students like even if the students know like the words, they might be making similar mistakes again and again. What is the reason? They just use like not effective strategists. So they might just focus on the last sentence only based on somewhere they hear. For example, they might be heard from somewhere that like only reading the last sentence or only reading the blank part is enough. But no, it's not enough. Based on my experience, I can tell that like for especially transitions in words and context, just reading the blank part or just reading the sentence itself is not enough. You should read the whole text to get familiar with the overall context of the passage, and then based on the context you can find the most logical answer, right? So you should also read the first sentence and second sentence. Like I mean, the whole passage you should read carefully, and based on the context of the whole passage, find the most appropriate one. This is the like tip number two. And number three, so this was also really great one that I always taught to my students and still keep teaching students. The method is called positive, negative, neutral. So it might remind you some math related idea, or like even in reading questions, maybe it like inference questions, maybe information ideas, all other question types, you can use this method like positive, negative, and neutral one. So for the positive one, we can say something like good, or like for the negative one, it might be bad. For the neutral one, what we can say for the neutral one, maybe unknown, for like for example, unknown or something like that might be like partially good, partially bad. So it's like partial something like maybe good or bad. So in some points like good, in some points bad. So positive, negative, neutral is using this like ideas like positive, negative, neutral also helps you essentially find like it helps you find the correct answer so quickly. Decide if the missing word is supposed to sound good, bad, or neutral. This simple step helps you eliminate the wrong options immediately. And also one more thing, like that I'm teaching like these tips, not without examples. At the end, I'll also give you some like questions to solve, and also use the same exact methods I have been teaching here for the test at the end of at the end of the video lesson, so that you can also see how I can use this for the official questions by College Board. So this is the third tip, and the fourth one. Let's focus on the fourth one. Number four, tip number four. Plug your guess answer first. By guessing, I'm not meaning like you have like four options, right? You have like four options. You got the text, you got a long text, maybe not that long, just say 3 lines of text, 4 lines of text for the words in context question. By guessing, I'm not meaning like without reading the text you should choose A or you should choose C, but I'm not meaning that. I'm meaning a different one. So for guessing one, I'm specifically meaning what. So basically there's A, B, C, D. Basically what I mean by guess is that you should ignore the answer choices for the like while reading the text. So you are reading the first sentence, second sentence, and the whole passage, and there is some blank part. So without looking at the right side, without looking at the options, you should have approximate answer. Imagine like the in the text there are some developments described, developments in some certain country, maybe in your own country, right? Like developments in your country. For example, we can say developments in USA. USA. Developments in USA, we can say that. Developments in US, maybe it can be about education, maybe it can be about infrastructure, and anything you can think of. Developments in USA, first sentence gave me some positive idea. All right, like USA education improves to a certain extent or like percentage in some infrastructure, and also it's continuing like positive ideas like this. And blank part, you can also relate that blank part should be also like chosen based on parallelism with positive ideas given previously. So if you have options like, for example, decrease which is negative, essential decrease in profit. For example, something like profit, right? There is like given profit, profit of companies, we can say. Decrease, we can say increase. It's just so easy words. They don't really give you in this specific order. They might give like, for example, words like enhance. It might give as like enhance, or like they might give as weaken. So decrease and increase, they might be easy, but they might be given as like weaken. They might be given as challenge, right? Challenge is also a negative idea. So negative idea. Enhance might be positive idea, and they might also be giving some another negative idea or neutral one. So they might be given neutral one. For example, they might say stable. Stable is like going like this, not decrease or decrease. And then like based on these ideas, you can choose like enhance the infrastructure, enhance the profit, right? The correct answer should not be essentially enhanced, but should be a synonym or related to this word. So it might not be like exactly enhanced, but it might be some other idea, other word which might be synonym for enhance. So guess answer is so crucial. Again, I teach this same exact method to my students who have scored really high, up to again 790. And yeah, we can also use this and improve your essentially crafting structure, specifically words in context questions. Before looking at the, basically, it's not limited to guess answer, is not limited to words in context only. It applies for almost all questions, all question type. I wouldn't specifically say, for example, standard English conventions. And sometimes if it's like subject verb agreement, like like maybe a singular plural thing, you might know this, but other times you may like you cannot know what exactly comes in your options. But for words in context, for reading questions, or for example, transitions or rhetorical sentence questions, you can predict what might be given in your options, and based on your prediction it might make it much easier to find the correct answer. By just again having your guess answer, at least you can eliminate one or two options. So right now if you have four options, it means you have 25 percent probability of getting correct for each without taking a look at the options, right? If you eliminate one option, it might increase to 33%, 33%, and 33%. If you eliminate another one, it might be just 50 to 50%. So you will be improving your potential to find the correct answer dramatically. Before looking at the answer choices, insert an easy, for example, B2 level board. Usually they might, like college board usually ask you B2 or C1 level boards. Sometimes might be C2 even, but I'm not sure about B1 because B1 is really not the like test. It's not commonly tested in SAT questions. So, for example, you can think of B2 level word you would naturally use, then match it with the best option. So, for example, if the passage is like challenging to comprehend, like even if you get some ideas here, you can think of some like not C1, again, B2 level sentence or like word that matches the idea of the passage, right? The next step, the number 5, context over memory. So this is a tip number 5, context. Um, Tip number 5, context over memory. Even if you know the word, check that uh check that it makes sense in this sentence. Yes, you should check that if it makes sense. You should check that if it makes sense in this sentence. Context is more reliable than memory. So what does it really mean? So tip number 5, basically, again, this is what I've been saying for the past maybe 10 minutes, right? Like context over memory. It's not entirely about like knowing the word specifically, but it's all about the context. Like based on the context that you should like comprehend the passage first and then relate the idea. You relate the idea to your options. Then it all based on the context, not something like that. For example, if there is a certain word which might mean, for example, good might not always mean like, for example, as you think like a good school, good student, something like this, but some other qualities as well, like maybe certain, maybe desirable, something like this. And maybe other words, for example, in one of the past exams, there was a word which was used, for example, hew out, right? There was a word which was used, hew out. And then basically hew means to cut. Hew basically means um, so hew basically means cut here, but it was in the context of the passage, it was something like define. So hew out, define, hew out the certain word, right? Hew out the certain word, but in the option, define was the correct one. Define the idea. Okay, so even if you think you know the words, even if you think like you really know the word, check that if it makes sense in the sentence. Context is more reliable than memory. Again, SAT might just give you some certainly easy words, and then check if you can get trapped in this question or like use your logic to understand the context first, and then choose some word which might be more close to the context. So let's move on to tip number six. So strategy number six, or you can say like tip, statement versus restatement clues. This is also one of the most like reliable tips that you can always use for words in context question. Doesn't matter like the similarity or like the blank part. You can use this method for any type of words in context questions. Statement versus restatement. Sometimes the sentence repeats the same idea in simple, or we can just say simple, in just simple words. The second phrase often defines the first. So sometimes as a sentence repeats the same idea, the second phrase of the often defines the first, giving you the answer directly. Again, imagine you have like the three sentence in your words in context question. Sentence number one, two, and three. Sentence one is just the overall introduction. Sentence two, the idea, and the sentence three is your blank part. So if you read it, it might be similar to sentence two. It might mean like it's just a restatement. Restatement, like this part is restatement. So this part is restatement. Sentence three is restatement of statement given in either text sentence one or sentence two. So this is your statement part, and this is part restatement part. Think of a transition word. For example, transition word in other words. In other words, you can use this transition word. So like word given, for example, C2 level idea might be given. You can say that in other words, that's a B2, right? That's a B2, or that's like C1. So you might use the clue in like sentence C2 level word or C2 level sentence to turn it to your B2, which might give the same idea in different phrases. Yeah, just a paraphrase of it. So all these six tips that you can use for words in context question, and then like let's solve some questions based on the tips and strategies I have taught here. So quiz time. In the following questions, please pause the video. After pausing it, you can try to solve you can try to solve the questions yourself, and then just play the video again, so you can like watch my video explanation as well. So the first question is this question, official question by College Board. You can try to solve it right now. Please pause the video and try to solve it. So now we can analyze. Let's take a look at the question. This one is the second question type. I can make it. Yep, just a minute. Black. As used in the text, what does the word assume most nearly mean? So this is the second question type, and it doesn't ask for a blank part, but there is already a word given, and like it's underlined. So you should use the synonym with it. The following text is adapted from George Bernard Shaw's 19. Right now, you don't have to look at the right side, the options. Just take a look at the text. Shaw's play Major Barbara. Lady Britomart, you must learn. So it's like the lady is saying, you must learn to face life seriously. This is in a like serious tone. Stefan, I really can't bear the whole burden of our family affairs any longer. So the person is saying that he cannot, like she cannot bear it. She cannot endure, like cannot endure the basically cannot endure the burden of the family affairs. You must advise me. You must assume the responsibility. So like maybe responsibility is usually given by take the responsibility, right? I have not looked at the options yet, but just having my guess answer here. So this is my guess answer. This is my guess answer. Assume the responsibility. Stefan is saying, I already brought smarts. Yes, you, of course. You were 24 last June. So the Stefan is already turned to 24. And then Lady Britomar saying that like he should take the responsibility or like he should assume the responsibility. Let's take a look at the options. Infer means it's more of like inference, maybe like concludes. Conclude the responsibility. I don't think it makes sense. It's out. Mimic means imitate. It's also out. It doesn't match, doesn't match, or so it doesn't match. Undertake may be related to take, undertake the responsibility, so it's a different form of it. Presuppose means like there is like the prefix pre-given, so it might mean like the having the idea before the occurrence of something here, presuppose. Yeah. This is also out, and the correct answer in this case is undertake the responsibility. Hope you got it correct. So that we can move on to the next one. You can also pause the video here, and then I'm going to explain it right now. So we chose complete the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase. This one is like a blank question type. This one is a blank one, and then we can see which one fits best here. Mariam Hosseini and her team use aerial images. Aerial means, for example, maybe using helicopters, relating to air helicopters, maybe using drones or maybe using planes. I don't know. So yeah, any type of aerial images of well, maybe it can be both. Yeah, any type of aerial images of mapped areas. So Boston to train a computer program to identify sidewalks. So the purpose is identifying sidewalks. This is a purpose. Uh, identify sidewalks. Identify sidewalks. When it was tested on images, so there is like the introduction part, introduction of a research, introduction of a research. When it was tested, this is like the testing. When it was tested on images of Brooklyn, it identified. So we have a verb, we have subject, middle side, we can use adjective. We can use adjective, certain adjective. Adjective can be positive, like it may be positive, like it identified positive, like not essentially positive, but might relate like we can some positive, negative, or neutral idea. Identified sidewalks in the vast majority of cases, and even whether sidewalks were concrete or brick. So right now it's giving idea, maybe if like negatively or positively identified. Houston believes the program will improve on this already strong performance. So we are saying that without this clue, it might be slightly hard to find a correct answer, but we have like already state restatement here. Already strong performance means this is like positive performance, so it's positively identified like with a positive, like with a high percentage, is it used more clumsily? So we can say something like accurately. It accurately, my guess answer is like, this is my guess answer, accurately identified, because this is a positive idea. Clumsily is a negative word. Clumsily essentially means, clumsy itself means awkward. So awkwardly, awkwardly. Um, yeah, something like unmanageable. But we are not saying something that's. This is a negative idea. Reliably is a positive one. We can take this one as a possibly the best option. Rarely is also negative. It defines the time. Frequency is really low frequency. So rarely out. Slowly is also negative again by knowing the positive, negative. Right now we have three negatives and then just one positive. So slowly is also defines the like condition, and this like not really positive one. Reliably is the best option, and the answer is B. Next one, please also pause, and now I can explain it without any problems. So this one is also blank one, the Polynesian languages. So let's see. Polynesian languages, a group of related languages originating on islands in the Pacific, typically have some area of sounds. So area of sounds typically have they have a verb. We have some like nouns, right? Before here we can use again adjective. We can use certain adjective. For example, the Tokolon. We are saying that the certain related languages. Tokolon language of the South Pacific has 11 consonants. So Tokelon, 11 consonants. And Alelo Hawari got 8 consonants. So by just looking at the idea here, we cannot know 11 or 8. This is like the big number or small number based on the context. And let's continue reading till the end, because reading the whole passage is so crucial to our understanding of the passage again. Globally, however, the median number of consonants per language is over 22. So like globally, yeah, globally, this median number of consonants per language is over 22. This is like specific examples of two languages. And if you consider the global case, globally, uh, globally, this is like median one. Median means like the average one. Median is like 22, which is like even like median means like you have a lot numbers here. So certain numbers here, certain numbers here. It's like the around not average, like mean is actually average, but median is like the mid one. So yeah, 22 is something here, and we got 11 and 8 here. As you can see, it's really low, like it's really small numbers. So typically have musical defines the quality. Also, one more tip I forgot to share is like quality versus quantity. In worsening context, you might also have like quality versus not only worsening context, but reading passage as well, quality versus quantity. Don't forget this one. So we can add it here, right? Tip number. mm, yeah, I just cannot remember all the tips at once, but might use some like the new ones as well. This is not the new one actually. This I know it's much before it. So yeah, quality versus quantity. Quality versus quantity. Quality means, for example, musical, right? Quantity might mean few. This is about like it's about like what type of it, like what type of it. It's like musical one, and few is about like frequency. So musical is a quality here, and we don't really need a quality option, so I can eliminate it. A option is out. Unvarying means unchanging. So varying means a changing one, and unvarying means like also unchanging. It means like stable. Again, we are not looking for something that means stable. So this one is option is also out. Exclusive means like unique. Again, it's not about quality one, so unique, or like it might mean also something like quality exclusive, or like limited to one. It might also means limited to one. We are not really looking for that. And modus, in some way, modus also might mean a character description of a character, like certain character. But modus, like if you look for it in the like definition, you can also know like the second meaning. A first meaning is unassuming in the estimation of one's abilities, and the second meaning is about amount, rate, level, relatively moderate, limited, and small. So like the amounts, or like we can say the level, small amounts or level. So yep, a D option fits the best here, and then the correct answer here is D. Let's see the next. We got two more questions here, so let's see them. Yep, this one is also blank part, and next one is synonym one. So blank part, please pause the video. Now we can analyze it. Which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word and phrase? You don't really have to read this because it's almost always same, just you might waste time. Even if it's like a few seconds, you can just waste time. The minor planets 1061 Pioneer was named after the plant genus and includes peonies. But most minor planets are given only an identification number. So like the minor planets, for example, there is a big planet and there is like this is a planet planets, and we got a small planets, and it might be identification number. For example, I see maybe it's 20, something like this. Maybe like planet, we can relate that. Planet, so just planet 25 or planet 25, 300, something like this. I don't know, like any identification number. So largely due to there being over 500,000 such bodies known at present. So right now, like approximately there are 500,000 such small planets here. So while the task of finding a unique a name for each minor planet was one a few had been discovered. Right now, without looking at the options, I can have my guess answer. So the task of finding maybe is easy. If it's easy, this is a positive idea. If it's difficult, this one is negative idea. So I cannot know whether it's easy or difficult just by looking at here, but it's by looking at the other side of the text. So one few had been discovered, so many minor planets have since been discovered that the task has become nearly impossible. So while it is a subordinate in conjunction, and once it's used, the other side of the, like you have like two sides, like the while part, dependent part, and the other part, independent part. If the other part is like negative, like impossible, the first part should be the opposite. If you're using like different ideology, like different ideas, for example, positive and negative, you should use the one in the dependent part and the other one in the independent part. So right now we are using subordinate conjunction in the other part, negative one. So this part should be positive. The task of finding a unique name for each was maybe easy, maybe something like possible, and then try to find synonym for easy, possible, similar ones. So A option is substantial. Substantial means really significant, big, significance, or like significant. We are not really trying to find like whether it's like a task was significant or big. It doesn't really make sense. A option is out. B option is surmountable, means impossible. B option means impossible. We're not saying really impossible because the last part is impossible. And C option, feasible. This is a synonym for possible one. Feasible means possible. It can really be an option. Ambiguous means having more than one interpretation, or like something like unclear. Ambiguous might mean unclear, negative word. We are not trying to find negative word. So substantial, I would say something like a neutral one. We got two negatives. Substantial, it can define that like extent, significant, substantial, might some way, might be even positive one, but right now it's about the context, which means possible, and the answer is feasible. C option is the best option and the most logical one here. So A out, B out, D out. And the last question, please pause it and try to solve it. Okay, as you see in the text, what does the word good most nearly mean? The following text is from Charles Chestnut's 1905 novel The Colonel's Dream. The Mr. French and Mr. Kirby work together. So two people to work together here. Mr. French, the senior partner. Right now we are using a non-essential idea, the senior partner. Who is the senior partner? Who sat opposite Kirby, was an older man. A safe guess would have placed him. So we are guessing, place him somewhere in a debatable ground between 40 and 50. We are guessing the age of a person and saying that this if we guess the age of the person, it's like somewhere around 40 or 50. Sometimes, like when you see people, some strange people, you can like strange person, you can say that they are maybe in their 30s, maybe 35, or even it might be 40 because like the it's really hard to guess for some certain people, right? So right now 50 of a good height. So actually it doesn't, like 40 or 50 doesn't relate to height because we are using a semicolon, like after semicolon there should be a different idea. So 40 or 50 is about age one, and then after semicolon, because it's an old passage, using semicolon before of is logical. But right now, based on the grammar, based on the writing, based on the standards English conventions, you cannot use semicolon before preposition like of, right? Of a good height. So he was older man of a good height, right? We are saying that the older man, older man of a good height. Good height. So it's about like how tall the person was. As could be seen even from the seated figure, the upper part of which was held erect with the unconscious ease which one associates with military training. So the person maybe seemed like large enough, or like they seemed like a military like training, or like military person, which like the picture of the person gives you an idea of a good height, right? Well behaved is about the quality. Good, essentially good means quality thing, but right now we cannot say well behaved height. Like height cannot be just well behaved. So the option is out. Well behaved means like about the maybe actions of a certain person. Considerable means like maybe high enough. Capable, so it might be related. Capable means also able to, so the option is out. Reliable means also trusted, maybe like authentic hate, trusted hate, like it doesn't make sense in this context. Like capable means like able to. Considerable means like if you look for the meaning of it, it might be maybe like some like high one, right? Considerable, you can search for it. So considerable means notably large in size. So Google says it's like notably large in size or amount or extent. We can say that because there is like the restatement part which defines what is that good height, right? And the answer is considerable height. So yeah, B option is the best one, and all other three options are out. So this is the almost the end of today's video lesson. I tried to explain like words in context question with certain tips and strategies, and also give you time to solve these certain quiz tests, official quiz tests. Hopefully the video was really useful. And lastly, I want to mention about like if you are really struggling with the reading and writing portion of the SAT, especially if you need an intensive let me make it again. This one is confusing. Yeah. If you need an intensive SAT online English, especially for evidence-based reading and writing course, which will be conducted online on Zoom, full recordings will be also given. Practice platform full of authentic tests, like official and authentic tests, collection of exam prediction questions, and presentation for all question types, specifically like explanations like this, will be given. So it's not essentially the maybe promotion of the ad. It's just if you're really struggling with reading and writing part of the reading and writing section of the SAT, you can follow the Telegram channel, D7 SAT, or just contact for the admin, D7 SAT. Admin can just give any questions regarding the course. Yeah, I'll be trying to make some more video explanations for other question types as well. And again, if you really like this video, please share it with others so that I can also try to find time for other like explanation of other question types in such detail and way, which also gives you like time to solve questions here and also analysis of it. So yeah, I can end the video right here and see you in the next videos.